Hello, guys. I am Francis
And I'm Rihanna
of
of
Financially
Financially
Flair.
Flair.
So we just wanted to come to you and give you a quick roundup on our blog post on debt, and so we just thought it was best to just take all the types that we went through on the blog post and relate it to us and in where we were or what we think about them and how it relates to us on a personal level. And so the very first one is credit cards. And we had some credit card when we got married, and what we did to actually get out of debt was we were able to do a balance transfer to, because this was at a different financial institution, so we moved it to a different financial institution because they were hoping that if we do that, then they will be able to get the interest from us if we were to slip up. And so that was like a 14-month balance transfer, so we did that, and then we just divided the total bill by like 13 months just to
Yeah.
be safe, to make sure that we didn't go over it. And so we were just practically paying two rent like a month for like a year, a little bit over a year. And I think we're putting about a little over $700 extra every month on this credit card just to make sure that we pay it off came the 14 months. And I think that was how we were able to do it, just taking advantage of the balance transfer and staying consistent, being disciplined, and having the willpower to take care of it.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of that, this was at the beginning of our marriage. So I can't even say that we were on the exact same page when it came to money and handling money. We weren't. So there's really nothing glamorous there. It was just kind of like, we need to get out of debt. This is important. Let's get a plan. And that's where Francis came in, and he really helped me to kind of organize that much better than I would have done on my own, to be quite honest. So the next type of debt that we discussed in that blog post was having a mortgage or home ownership type of debt. And essentially, we are renters, so we don't own a home, and we rent where, like, to live. And we don't really have a desire to own a home. That's not something that's very high on our list. It's not high on our value system at this time. There are a lot of phantom costs in owning a home, and it's a great type of debt to get into if that's something that you care about and that's something that is of high value for you. So we're not telling you not to own a home. It's just not something that is very high on our list. So
Yeah, and I think with home ownership for us, apart from the phantom cost, I think we also like flexibility. If you know, clearly I have an accent, and so we want to be able to just up and move if we have to. And owning a home, at some point you probably have to put it on the market, try and sell it. It's just restrict us, and we want to be fluid when it comes to where we want to live or where we want to visit with no restrictions. So that's one of the main reasons why we prefer to rent.
and this is different from a investment property, and so we'll have a different video discussing that. So we're definitely interested in investment properties, but as far as a personal home for us to live in, not right now. So I think the third one that we discussed was auto loans. So how old is your car?
Um, my car is a sweet 18-year-old lady.
Yeah,
It's a 2002 Honda CRV. And yours?
is 2004 Toyota Camry, and they're both paid off. So thank God for that, honestly. And prior to that, my very first car that I got when I turned 16 was a 1998 Toyota Avalon. So I have a history with buying older cars, and they've run perfectly. I would still, in fact, that car, that 98 Avalon, still drives today. Okay, So it's just that at the time I had to get a new car because it was leaking oil and the transmission went bad. There was a lot that happened, but someone put work into it, and that car is still in existence. So we chose to have and drive older cars because, as we explained in the post, as soon as you buy a new car, the moment you put on the car and you drive off the lot, it's already depreciated. It's like the one thing. And some people look at car ownership as like a liability, blah, 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 things like that. Make your own decision on how you feel about that. But we have made the decision to drive older cars and own older cars, and it's been great for us. And we also have a car maintenance sinking fund. So what that means is every month we put aside money, regardless of if we use it or not, on car maintenance, to make sure that we have money building up. So in the event that we have, like, my tire went flat on my way to work one day and Francis had to come out and change it, and we had to replace that tire and things like that, there was money set aside already that we budgeted out to be able to handle that car emergency. So you definitely want to start having a sinking fund. And if you're not sure what that means, a simple Google should be able to explain it. But essentially, in short, it's just putting aside money every month, even if you don't use it, so that it builds like this, I don't know, like a treasure trove of money that you can like pull from for this specific use. So.
And I think it's important to prepare for anything because, I mean, the reason for driving old cars is because it's important to just get from point A to point B. That's all what it's great for us in terms of owning older cars. And to be able to keep the cars this long, we have to be able to maintain it. And so we need to invest in it as well if we want it to run longer. In saying that, the next expense or the next form of debt is medical expenses, and that is pretty simple for us. We just get insurance through the employer. We contribute to a health savings account, which has huge tax benefit that we can get into in another video. I think we will also like to get into the HRA and the FSA or another in another video. But just like with cars, we also have a medical expense fund that we contribute to every month, regardless whether we use it or not, and it's in a high yield savings account that just grows with interest. So if there's a medical expense, we just take that money from there, so it doesn't eat into our recurring. It's already budgeted for every month.
And so, yeah, just a little bit more on that. We will do a follow-up video talking about the differences between the HSA, the HRA, and the FSA. So be on the lookout for that in the near future. The very last debt that we have to talk about is the dreaded student loan debt, which is honestly at an all-time high. It's at crisis levels, in my opinion. Of course, a lot of people in hindsight, look at the degree and you ask yourself, was it worth it, and things like that, especially when you go out into an entry-level job and you get paid what seems like pennies, even though you've paid so much for this degree. It really is a crisis. It really is in a bad state. I know for us, we were fortunate enough and also grateful to leave undergrad without any student loan debt. I obtained my medical lab scientist degree, my medical technology degree, debt free. Like I didn't have to take out loans to get it. I got grant money, scholarship money because of my GPA and things of that nature, and that was very helpful. And the rest of it was paid out of pocket by my parents. And I was fortunate enough to have that type of situation, and it wasn't easy. I lived at home, I ate at home. I didn't have to work, but I also I never went anywhere on like spring break and stuff like that. Like I didn't have disposable income. So, there's pros and cons to that, and not everybody can do that. Not everybody wants that type of college experience, but that's what mine was, and it was so great. It was some of the best years of my life. So there's that. And then then you went on to do your master's and did a graduate program online, and we budgeted, planned down to the T, and paid for that education out of pocket. So again, coming out of that without any student loan debt as well. Which, congrats, babe. He graduates in May of this year.
Yeah. And I was lucky to get my undergrad through scholarships. I had to work through college to pay for certain things, but I was extremely fortunate to be able to do that. So I was lucky there. In hindsight, there was no way I should have been here, but it happened. So I'm grateful for that. Lucky me. I was lucky. It's that simple. Like Rihanna said, with my graduate degree, it was planned for. I looked for a well-respected institution for a good price. I did it online. It worked out. I think it's one of the best investments we've made,
Yeah.
and considering how much it cost and all that. So I'm grateful for that. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. We hope that you got to see a little bit of us and understand where we stood or stand in terms of how we accumulated some of these debts or what we think about some of these debts going forward. So thank you and talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.